Okay, let's do exercise number 18. You'll need to print out the sheet for that. Removing resistance. And here's what this is about. You're going to write down all the things that create or provide some sort of resistance in the process of you taking action. So since this module is about taking action, take a few moments and discover some of the things that create resistance for you to take action. What keeps you from taking action? If you can eliminate as many points of resistance as possible, you'll take a lot more action. Here's a great example. I lift weights on occasion, not enough as I probably should, but when I go into lift weights, one of the things that creates resistance for me is when things take a lot more time. So for example, I do a lot of dumbbell workouts, and I used to have some really nice like Bowflex all-in-one dumbbells in my house in my little home gym. You've probably seen them where you can turn the dial and it changes the weights and then you can pick them up out of the thing. But a lot of times it takes time to turn those dials and set them back right on the stands and then pick it up with the weights, not falling off. And then you go and you do your exercise. Well, for me, that was a point of resistance. So what I ended up doing was investing in individual weighted dumbbells. So I have a whole bunch of them. And I no longer have an all-in-one unit where I have to turn dials and change the settings and change the weights. So when I'm working out, I just go and pick up, the 20-pound weights or the 30-pound weights. I just grab them off the rack and then do the exercise, and then the exercise is done. So because it helped me cut out that resistance, cut out the thing that was taking more time, I'm more apt to actually lift weights in that regard. So because I don't have to put in the work to change the weights and go through all the trouble between sets and everything else, now that I can just grab the exact weight that's already there for me, it helps me progress and it helps me get more stuff done. Well, when it comes to taking action in your business, it's the same thing. If you eliminate resistance of any kind in any process that has anything to do with you taking action, you'll take more action, ultimately get more results, and hopefully make more money. So think of things that create resistance for you to get stuff done. For example, if you have a computer that's slow because it's overloaded with software or there's some other issue where you need more RAM, and so every time you try to run the browser to do research or to do something, it takes a little while for it to load up, or it just annoys you. And a lot of times you don't like going through that experience because it annoys you, and that's something you avoid, but that's something you need to do to take action, but that's something that creates resistance for you to take action. Well, you probably need to wipe your computer, reinstall the operating system from scratch, and get it running fast again, or buy RAM if you need it, to kill that resistance. So now when you sit down on the computer, your computer runs faster, the web browser runs faster, and that's no longer an issue. But think long and hard about things that create resistance in the process of you taking action, and write those down during this exercise. And then, of course, make a note next to it on how you can eliminate that that element of resistance. It's a lot like the work environment example, but it's a little bit different, about making your work environment better to be happier and to be more efficient when you actually sit down to do work. Resistance isn't necessarily things in your environment. It can be. It can be any part of a process. Maybe it's something that you find difficulty in and you're taking some sort of action, but every time you get to a certain step, that's something you don't feel quite comfortable with. Instead of doing it, you just put it off, procrastinate, because you always hate that fourth step, for example. Well, that's an element of resistance. And maybe if you get someone to do it for you, then you move right on by and you do all the other stuff easily. Just an example. But take some time, write down and think about all the things that are creating resistance and keeping you from taking more action.